I'm having solar panels and battery storage installed by Octopus Energy this week in South Wales at my home. I'm just going to run through the quote I had from them and the return on investment. This is something quite a few people on my social media feeds have been asking for. I've been a bit reluctant, but I'll explain why. I don't like discussing the return on investment, but I will in this video. Now, just as background, I've been an Octopus customer since 2018. They had just under 300,000 customers when I joined, and I'm really comfortable about using them as my supplier and my installer. This is pictures from when I visited their warehouse in Slough. I then had a quote after that, and I had a quote as well from a local installer. Now, the local installer and Octopus, I think the local installer was slightly cheaper, but I decided to go with Octopus because I felt reassured. I use them for my energy supply, and I've got quite a good relationship with them. So the total cost for my install, you can see on the left in green, the purchase price, £17,270. And for that, I'm covering those two south-facing roofs. You can see there were solar panels on with 15 all black panels. Now in my garage, which is just to the left of the top lot of solar panels, I will have 13.5 kilowatts of Give Energy battery. It's the all-in-one battery that also supplies a backup. So it comes with a gateway and then a need. No, but something I wanted. I'm having micro inverters as well put on each solar panel. And I'm having a solar edge inverter as well, so I can monitor each panel's production. So this is what you're looking for, the return on investment. So the estimated net saving over system's lifetime is nearly £12,000. So that's after you take away my £17,000 investment. If I flick to the next screen, this is what I'm having installed. If you want to compare it to a quote you're having or you might have in the future. These are the panels. I'm having 15 of the all black panels. You don't see the silver lines on them like you see on the older ones on the roofs. Microinverters you could do without if you don't have shading. I've got a tiny bit on one of the south facing roofs, possibly from a neighbouring property, but this is more of a want than a need, to be honest. I'm having an additional inverter to go with that, and I'm having the 13.5 kilowatt hour battery, as I said, with the gateway. It can come without the gateway if you don't want that additional islanding capacity where you can cut yourself off from the grid in case of a power cut and keep using your solar panels, and you can use your battery as well in the event of a power cut. Now, going to the return on investment. When I had my two quotes, the second person to quote, which was a local installer, had my price going up year on year by 6% with inflation. That's the amount I was paying per kilowatt hour for my energy, which, as you all know, doesn't happen. So if I quickly glanced at the net saving and the return and when I get my money back, it was really quite soon. It was really unrealistic. And you need to look out for that. Octopus Energy use my current tariff because they're my provider. They know how much energy I use. This is based more on definite facts, and they know the tariff I'm on. So they're using the Octopus Intelligent tariff there. But they're also using the sedge, which is 4 pence per kilowatt hour for my export. And for those who are with Octopus and are on the EV tariff that I'm on, you will know you can now get 3 times and more than this. You can get 15 pence per kilowatt hour for your export. So my return will be much higher, and my lifetime, the amount of time it takes for me to get my money back will be quicker. It depends on how much energy I consume, how much energy I export to the national grid. So here's the graph showing my figure I've spent, my utility bill and my saving. These are all obviously based on estimates, and you can see it's a 12-year payback. But anything could happen to those tariff rates. Anything could happen to the sedge payment. It could go up, it could go down, the same as my usage. As my kids get older and they leave home, as we electrify more and we get more dynamic pricing, the price of electricity might go down. Anything could happen. But right now, looking at this, based on my current energy use and the Octopus Intelligent tariff, and going on the lowest possible export rate, I'll get my money back in 12 years and I will make a profit over the lifetime of nearly £12,000. Now, the important part to me here is that I'm sort of paying for my energy up front. So I'm 52 this month, and over the lifetime, so over 20 years, I'm going to be 72, which I don't like to think about. But after this payback period, my income, I would assume, is going to diminish, and I'm going to have already paid for a large chunk of my energy through my solar install. And that's really quite important to me. Return on investment is important, but the security of when I'm older, which is because I'm in my 50s, not that far away, that I'm sort of forward buying my energy, is really important to me, as is being self-sufficient. So not having to rely so much on the national grid, being able to self-consume. So charging my battery from the solar, then sending it to my house. Helping the grid out is also another big one I'd like to do. But self-consuming and being greener by making my home its own like mini power station is important. Nobody knows what's going to happen. As we go into the future, if there's going to be more volatility with electricity, I don't know, if there's more power cuts. I'm a slight prepper, as you can tell from my tone, and I like the idea of my home being able to be islanded and me being able to generate and monitor my own energy use from my own system. So the main time I am going to be making excess energy when I can export to the grid is from April to September. These figures are real. So Octopus base these on my current energy use. And then they use other figures to look at the sun figures, the amount of solar throughout the year. And you can see from April to September, I'm going to be producing more than I can actually use, where I can export it to the grid. And that's where a lot of people with things like Octopus Flex are doing really quite well, to be honest. They're exporting as much as they can to the grid. Some of them are even in the winter filling their battery at night at 7.5 pence and then almost instantly exporting it in the morning to the grid at 15p. So they're playing the system slightly, but this is where they are increasing the time, the money they get, and reducing the time on return of investment. So it's all really quite fluid, and anything could happen. They could stop this, or it could become more dynamic, and you would be much better off being able to import and export. There's so many different variables, and the reason I'm using Octopus is because I feel personally reassured by them as a customer. Like I said, I've been with them for years. I like what they're doing. I like all the intelligent versions of their tariffs that come out. I think they're pushing boundaries, making people reconsider, even myself, reconsider how we use energy and our relationship with it. And being able to be self-sufficient and greener is really important to me. So the return on investment, yes, I understand the cost is important. You've got to pay for it, but also I'm paying for my energy into the future. When I'm in my late 60s and 70s, hopefully my energy bills will be a lot less than if I'd invested in this solar and battery install. I've also invested in Ripple Energy. That's another good one, where I am part of a co-op. I was part of the first one. We own a wind turbine in South Wales, and my part of the wind turbine, when it generates energy, I get the money then off my Octopus energy bill. So hopefully when I'm really old, older than now, my energy bills will really be diminished by these investments, which at the moment I can afford to do. I'm really quite fortunate. I understand that. So I hope that helps. And if you've got any questions, just let me know. I'm super excited about tomorrow, and I'll make some further videos.